Our verse today is Acts chapter 4, verse 35. And laid it at the apostles' feet, and it was distributed to each as any had need. The life of the early Christians remains the model for the followers of Christ. The believers were in one heart and soul. They lived as a family and had everything in common. What was the driving force? The power of the resurrection of Jesus. The believers were already living the life of the resurrection, the life of heaven. The concrete witness to that life was to live as Jesus lived. Jesus was selfless. He was interested in the well-being of everyone, especially the poor. In the invitation of Jesus, who had nowhere to lay his head, nor had his own donkey, the believers sold their properties. They brought the proceeds to the apostles. They laid these proceeds at the feet of the apostles. To lay things at the feet of someone is to submit entirely to that person. It is to give someone complete control over you. In the Bible, the enemies are described as being under the feet of their conquerors. Look at Joshua chapter 10 verse 24, 1 Kings chapter 5 verse 3, and Psalm 8 verse 6. The New Testament emphasizes the authority of Jesus over all things. All things are under his feet. Look at Matthew chapter 22 verse 44, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 25, and Hebrews chapter 2 verse 8. But there is also a voluntary falling at someone's feet as a mark of reverence. If you read 1 Samuel chapter 25 verse 24 and Mark chapter 5 verse 22. Sitting at someone's feet is an act of submission and teachability. Compare Luke chapter 8 verse 35 and Luke chapter 10 verse 39. The believers willingly submitted to the apostles' authority and handed over their resources to be distributed equitably to all those in need. Please take note, they were not given to one bishop or a priest for his personal use, or to one general overseer for his family or for a private jet. The resources were to be distributed to each as they had need. No one in the community was to lack anything. I think about our churches today, especially in the developing world and even in some developed world. Some ministers of God preach tithes and giving, which end up in their private bank accounts only for their good and the expansion of their business empires. That is clearly against the gospel and the spirit of the early church. We must call ourselves to order as Christians today. We need to live according to the spirit of the gospel, not just satisfying our own human desires. Lord, give us the spirit of the early Christians to care for the needs of everyone in the community. Amen. God bless you. Have a lovely day.